So she kind of just started talking about thank you for coming, like, and trusting me. And so I was just like getting my products out and placing them, laying them out. And she was like, what's this you have here? And I had like all my beauty blenders, and I had this one in like the carrying case with the little holes in it, a beauty blender carrying case. I had on makeup earlier that day because I had something that I really had to do for work. I got all the makeup out and I was showing her, you know, the latest foundation, and she was just kind of like, oh, well. And I had like I have a beauty blender like palette, you know, like a painter's palette where you can put foundations and different shades and color, customize your shades and stuff. So she taking my stuff and then she pumped it out and she's like, I'm gonna wet your beauty blender for you again. I had already wet it like before I came. It was in the little case. And she was, this is how I would, you know, put on your foundation. And she just took my beauty blender, dipped it in my foundation, and just like started patting on my face. And I'm sitting here going, I thought it was like a makeup lesson. Like, she's not letting me do it. But I was just like, oh my God. I don't know why I'm that way. I just don't like to argue, I guess. But I was just like, okay, what's happening here? And I was just processing and thinking. And then she was like, so for me, this is what I normally do. I just conceal. And she was going through my products and she was like, this is just trash. That's not going to work. You should get this. This is trash. And I was like, okay, it's up to me to call something trash, like not you. Like, I don't need you telling me what I spent my hard-earned money on that's like trash. I like to use brown eyeliners on my eye because I feel like it is softer and it's not so harsh. Like, if I'm going out, I'll do black, but for the office and just an everyday look, I think brown liner is great. Then she was like, and when I conceal, I like to conceal after I do foundation. And I was just like, is she playing in my face? Like, is this lady playing in my face? Because like that comment did not make any sense. But that's what she said. Like, oh yeah, I like to conceal afterwards. Now, I'm not saying that's all the way backwards, and I ended up doing it by mistake earlier. But that's what she told me. And she was like, and so when you blot that with the beauty blender, you blot that like softer. Like, you know, with foundation it's more, but with that it's like really, really, really soft, and tap it in. She did that, and then we weren't doing anything else. And so I was like, like, is this it? Had started talking about, yeah, you know, I'm just still so sorry that this happened. She said, when I got that email from you, like, I don't know how I didn't see it at first. You know, I just have had so much going on, and whenever, like at the time when you were emailing me, I had over 15,000 emails in my inbox. And she was like, look now, look, it's so clean. I was like, yeah, it's clean, because it only had like 3 notifications. But I was like thinking, what does that have to do with me and what happened in my instance? Like, I don't care about your email box. Like, you're running a business, and so you know that you need to be like up to par. Like, my work email is always way better than my personal emails because I can't keep up with it, and I'm trying to like get rid of so much stuff. I just cannot keep up with it. This eyeliner, it is one size and it's busty brown, and I really like it. This liner is by the Lip Bar and it's called Straight Living. So on my lips, I'm still not doing my eyes, y'all. I was just like, what does that have to do with like the makeup lesson right now? I don't need to hear any more excuses. We've already kind of been through that part. It is what it is. Like, and she's like, I've just felt so bad, and I've been talking to my you know, I guess her cohorts in esthetician school, and she was like, have y'all ever been through this? And they're like, yes, we've been there, and it just feels away. And I was just listening, but I was kind of like, where are we going with this? And immediately something dropped in my spirit, and that was the other reason why I went, because I was trying to figure out why she was all over my stories suddenly, and like, what was it about? And then also I was like, well, maybe she's trying to see if I would even come, because I've let somebody else do my brows since then. But I did not care, because it's my cash. I do what I want to do. And she surely didn't ask me. Because I know she looked at my face, she looked at my brows. She never said, oh, well, who did your brows lately? She didn't say a word about it. And I didn't say anything about it because I was like, I know she sees it. Y'all, this cooler weather has already got my skin going crazy. Skin going bonkers. One day, I'm gonna have a home in the tropics. Let's speak that into existence. I was just like, okay, it's really giving weird. I like to put on my lip chap like after I line my lips, not before, because then it's too slippery. I gotta bring some moisture back into these succullas. I'm gonna exfoliate my lips tonight because it's been like 3 days since I have and they need it bad. Dang. I didn't realize it was so bad, but I've been cleaning so much and cleaning my garage. I've just been like, and I didn't bring my Kleenex. And then something dropped in my spirit like, oh, I think she's probably seeing if I'm gonna ask about the dermatologist bill. But here's the thing, you guys. The dermatologist bill had not arrived. It was not in my mailbox, and it had been well over a month. And it had not come in my mailbox. I hadn't had a bill. And so I didn't really think that it was fitting to bring it up then, because I was like, well, when it does come, I'm gonna be sending it to her. So I just didn't think anything about it. And then I was kind of like, well, maybe we're just building back our, relationship, in that, maybe I will go back to her for my brows, but it would be brows only. And so I was like, well, right now we're working on that. We're working on rebuilding the trust, and I will talk to her about that later. So I didn't bring it up. But I was so disappointed because by 5:15, I was out of there, and all I had was like on foundation and a little bit of concealer, and she told me what I should be using and this and that and that and the third. I'm gonna go in with my Arbonne eyebrow gel and just like really lay the brows. But so before I left, she was like, oh, and I can also get you this dual-ended, like she said it was a concealer and a contour stick, and it was by YSL, and it would pair well with my YSL foundation, because when she put the foundation on me, she was like, oh gosh, you picked really good, like it looks really good on you, like that looks amazing. And then I had my Arbonne shade as a backup, like to custom match, and she was like, that works too, but she said this YSL is like amazing. And I was like, yeah, I really fell in love with it when I was in there testing it out, because it took me hours. We were going back and forth just trying to figure out something that would work for me, and then tone down the scarring and stuff too. And she said, oh, well, YSL, they sent me products, and I have a whole big box of the double-ended concealer contour stick, and I will bring it to you tomorrow. I will bring it to your job, which would have been Thursday. And I was like, okay, thanks. We hugged each other or whatever, and she was like, thank you so much for just trusting me again. And I left, and I was like, what just happened in there? I did not learn anything makeup wise. She told me my stuff was trash, and then she gave me beauty blenders. She gave me these, and this is what really ticked me off. She gave me these beauty blenders. She was like, yeah, I have these beauty blenders. Like, look at this one. This one looks like it's been smashed up, beat up. And she said, all you have to do, and these aren't even the real beauty blenders. These are these things off Amazon. And I mean, if they're off Amazon, that's fine. But here's my thing. I've already had some type of reaction to a treatment that you did. Why would you give me something that you have laundered in your laundry detergent that I don't use and think that that's okay? She gave me these and said, I just throw these in the wash all the time with just, laundry detergent, and that it gets them completely clean. Well, my beauty blenders will have little brown dots on them because it doesn't come all the way out, but I clean them by hand with beauty blender cleaner. So I'm gonna just say this. I've been using beauty blenders since they first came out. I think around 2013. The ex at the time I was talking to, he purchased me my first beauty blender because he knew that I wanted it for my birthday. And I am a beauty blender stan. Some people don't like them all the time, but I'm a stan. I love them. I love them. I love them, and I use them, and I appreciate them. Her giving me basically used that's been in her wash, and this one's all smashed and dented up. Totally different textures, not the same. They're not beauty blenders. Especially, I know for sure this one ain't, and I don't think this one is either. Like just the material is totally different. Than the way it squishes, totally different. This is super soft. This is more firm. Whatever. So she gave me those beauty blenders and was like, yeah, I'll give you that too, and I'll bring that to you tomorrow. So this is what she's talking about, and I ended up having to purchase this on my own a few days later. And it's not double-ended. It's not double-ended. It's only a concealer. So this is the Patrick Ta blush, and it's so pretty. It's in the shade She's Baked, and I think it's so pretty. I'll take the other side of my beauty blender and dot the cream. That's just me. Anyway, so child, she was just giving me used beauty blenders, and I thank you for trusting me, and I just really think that she wanted to see if I would come to her so she could see my brows, but she wouldn't ask me about them. She didn't say anything, and I was like, well, if she's not gonna ask, I'm not volunteering that information because the information was put online, and it is what it is. And I went to my favorite brow person of all time. And even if I do get a new brow person, I'll be going to Nikki whenever I'm in Texas. She gets you in, she gets you out. She's not trying to upsell you. She's not coming up with other schemes and things. She's just getting your brows done. I've never had her upsell me or anything. So I leave. Thursday comes. I don't hear anything from her. She didn't give me the free product she said she was gonna give me, the double-ended YSL. Didn't see it, didn't hear from her, didn't get it. Friday came, didn't see it, didn't hear from her, it never came. I kid you not. It was October the 7th, and Adam and my son and I, we were getting ready to get out and just like run some errands, and I was letting him drive. And something said, just go check the mail real quick before you get out. Because you never know, a check could be in the mail, anything. Get the mail, there's the bill. And I was like, okay. So I said, well, I've been in her presence, we've talked, we've interacted, that shouldn't be a problem. So I take a picture of the bill and I text it to her. Hey, Levine, here's the dermatologist bill. For $103.88, $103.88. I thought that was very good because I paid $140 for my PCP, and I never brought that to her attention. I never told her about it. I never said anything. I just paid it because I knew that she told me she would pay the dermatologist expense, but I still was forced to go get a referral that I shouldn't have had to do to begin with. Never brought it to her. Never asked her for anything regarding the PCP. And I was like, you can pay me Venmo, Cash App. Like I gave her all of my ways of being paid. PayPal, just all of them. Venmo, all of them. That this is the way I take payment. I gave her all the options so it wouldn't be no concerns. Apple Pay too. Yes, I sure did. And it took her about 3 hours to respond to me. Well, the first Saturday of every month, we normally are like on a prayer call or like a sisterhood call with the Alfords or Iman. And we had a special guest on that weekend, which was her mom. And we was just like in prayer, like we was just in the thick of it here. And I was, we was just really in the presence of the Lord and just really like fellowshipping. And I'm getting text messages, but I didn't notice at first, but then like my phone kind of kept, like my watch was going off too. I saw that it was her, and I probably should have just like left it alone and ignored it. But in the same token, you know, it was a personal matter and it was important, and so I just thought that she would just send me the money. Like, I sent her a picture of the bill, which means now she has my, you know, my other information, and I didn't have anything to hide. So I did all that, and then she was like responding. She was like, sorry about the concealer. See, now, so then she bounced back to the concealer. See, I hadn't even said nothing to her about them. I never asked her about them. I charged her to the game, but she brought that up. Sorry about the concealers, and not getting them to you like I said on Thursday. Yeah. She was like, yeah, I'm so sorry about that. And she was like that she was genuinely sorry about what happened with my face and for her delayed responses, but regrettably, she would not be able to cover the cost of my derm appointment. She gave me big long paragraphs. She gave me the link to her booking policies and everything. Like, with any type of facial, any type of treatment, it comes with risk. She said that she was sorry that she couldn't locate the concealers, and she recommended I go to Sephora. Now she's gonna tell me how to spend my money and where to go. And then she says, if you would like to see another esthetician going forward, I completely understand. Well, of course you're going to completely understand, because you already know that I went and got my brows done by someone else. Because I don't have time. I don't have the energy. I'm not fixing to play no games. But you sitting up here playing in my face, giving me used, wash laundry beauty blenders. Like, they smell like some type of a detergent. I would never put that on my face. Beauty blender is very germ absorbent. Why would I take, like, they weren't packaged. They came just like I showed you. They were not packaged. These are packaged. Or even if you got them from Amazon, it should be in some type of packaging. But she just gave me that and thought that I would just like accept it and be okay with it, and that I would never bring up the bill. But I didn't have the bill in hand, so I did not feel like it was a good time to bring it up. But as soon as it dropped in that mailbox, I can guarantee you I did bring it up. Then she was like pushing me off, pushing me away. Like, you can go get, like, now it's like, oh, I'm scrambling to get rid of you. I don't want anything to do with you. And yeah, I'm okay with it. Like, nice, nasty. And if you get with somebody else, I completely understand. Yeah, okay. And I don't need you to understand, because I was gonna do that anyway. After all this, like, after all of this. And then I was like, I said, Levon, I said, I do not need your link to your policies. I said, this entire time, all you have done is made excuses. Y'all see it in the text. You should be able to see it in the text. All you've done is made excuses. And I was like, and then you thought that you could just give me beauty blenders or whatever, knockoff beauty blenders used, because you thought that that would suffice for what happened to my face. But that's not what I need. That's not what I asked for. That's just what you feel like is the right thing to do. And I was like, you offered to pay the dermatologist expense. And I said, you did not say it in a text. It was over the phone. You said it like while we were talking on the phone. So there is no paper trail of that. But she was telling me all kinds of stuff when we were in the thick of it, and I finally got her to respond. But now it's like, oh, that didn't happen. And so it's just giving very, very weird. You can still see the scarring, I feel like, but I don't know. It's a beautiful bead. I'm not tripping. This story is just so long and drawn out. But I'm multitasking. I felt like if I would just sit here talking, but I wanted to make it a chit chat. That's, you know, the look. And then I'll finish telling you the story. And I also need to do my hair soon. Anyways, where was I? Okay, it was like, I know that you have been very patient and kind with me. Okay, that's the key word. I have been very patient. When you didn't even tell me what you did, you didn't respond to me, when you gave me product that was dried up, when you gave me a makeup lesson it was not a makeup lesson, you just put on foundation on me and some concealer, blotted me, and then we were done. You gave me used beauty blenders. You said you was gonna give me this and that, you didn't do it. Like, regardless if she would have done those things, I would have still given her the derm bill because that's what she told me she would do. Whether she did it or not, that's on her, but that's what she told me. That's why I never sent her my referral PCP appointment bill. Never sent it to her. I just had to, basically suck it up and pay it. Like, texting me a big long book. Then she tried to say, let's talk. She tried to call my phone. I was like, no, I'm in the middle of a Zoom. I said, I was just responding to your text really quickly. I said, but I'm in the middle of a Zoom. She got quiet. She stopped texting and I got quiet. I finished what I was doing on my Zoom, the prayer and everything. And then it was what it was. The next day, I got up and around, I don't know, 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. it was, I've had time to pray about it and speak to my husband about this, and I'm gonna go ahead. And I hate that it came to you threatening legal action. There's nothing to hate about that because that's what it came to after, at that time, 4 months of this. But now she's not even taking responsibility. And then she was like, if you incur any dermatologist bills going forward, I will not be responsible for them. I didn't ask her to be responsible for anything going forward. I do know that for me, the initial appointment, I felt like she should be responsible for it, but she put herself out there and said that she would pay it. So now, like, the reason for the backtracking, I never understood it. She sent me my money. It's done. It's all good. I'm pretty sure we're not friends on social anymore. That's perfectly fine. Let bygones be bygones. It is what it is. Sometimes people are for seasons, and I get that. And that's what also, like, it made me think about when it comes to money, a friend, whatever, or somebody that does a service for you, it really is very telling. And I'm gonna tell this story and just segue into friendships and just people and money. Like, when it really boils down to it, when it comes to money, you're really gonna see like true colors. This was 5 years ago, and it was 2018, and at that time, the relationship that I was in, the person had gone overseas. And so this best friend at the time decided that they were going to come and see me because her spouse wanted to cheer her up, and he also wanted to cheer me up. And he was like, I think that this would be great. So the whole time, everybody go through hardships, they go through ups and downs, but she was bugging about finances and like, I don't know what we should, but he was really like pushing to do this. And I am a believer of, if a man want to do something and he says he's gonna do it, allow him to do that. Like, that boosts his confidence so much. But that's not my business. But for whatever reason, she was not very fond of him really like making the trip and for the finances. It's not my business about that part of it. I didn't know. But they ended up coming anyway. And so in the meantime, since she was kind of like a little, like having anxiety about it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna ask my boyfriend if it would be okay if they could stay at his place, because my place, this is my office and then my son's room, but at his place it's 3 bedrooms but with a spare bed, and they can just have that, use the facilities, just have everything. And I think that would be great. Now, mind you, I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart, knowing that more than likely my guy at the time would be like, yeah, no problem. Not asking them for anything, but just trying to cut costs for them. Just cut costs so they don't have to spend for a hotel for 2 nights. Because, on average, a hotel, average hotel about $80 a night, but a better hotel is gonna cost you $100 to $200 a night. So I was like, ooh, that will cut them costs. So they came. It was cool. He granted them permission to stay in the home. It was great. And by the next day, we had went to, like, I think it was Juneteenth again. Like, it's kind of funny. It was Juneteenth and stuff, and we went out to like those festivities, and we was just like hanging out. And he had told her that he was going to give me $50 for being up in this man's home and being able to use the electricity, the water, watch TV, sleep, the whole 9 yards. And apparently the conversation was being had without me knowing about it, like I did outside of me. And she told him, no, they got it. No, they're good. And he was like, it's just $50. And she was like, they're good. And I'm just like, number one, just because people have a home does not just, you should not just assume that like everything is gravy, because those are big bills. And unfortunately or not, that person that I had that relationship with, we did not live together. We had separate big bills. His home, my home. At that time. And things cost. And we were not chipping in to each other's household. So just to be like, they're good, no, was very hurtful. But here's the thing. He ended up giving me the money anyway. He gave me the $50. And to this day, anybody can tell you that I made sure that that money stayed at that home and that that person got that money for letting two grown adults stay in his home and be in his home. And he's way across the world. Not to monitor shit, only to trust my word and to trust my character. Everything ended up fine as relates to that. And here's the reason why I didn't say anything about it to her at the time. And I will never say anything to her. It's just here on my channel because it's my experience. I didn't say anything because number one, that's her husband and he comes first, period. And number two, it was not worth trying to create some chaos about it and just make things awkward and weird, because she tried to lay the law down about the whole thing. And so it was just like, he still did what he was going to do. It is what it is. And because I was not a part of the conversation, nobody wanted to be like an adult and have me in the conversation to begin with. So whenever he just gave me the money and said, I really do need him to have this money, I just said, okay, I'll just keep it quiet. We'll move forward and go from there, because to me, it was only fair. Like if they didn't have gas to get up there, then number one, they wouldn't have been there. But if they could have made it up there, I don't see how $50 for a 2-night stay was a burden. Like, I really don't. Everybody go through stuff. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices. So I just was very like, wow, like I couldn't believe it. And I held that for years. And then 3 years later, I was coming home to see my family like back to back. And this is like right during COVID. But this is what I mean about money. Like, money changes things. Money changes people. Even $50, even $100, $103, it changes people. And that summer, I had let her and her child come up here on me. I really didn't have the means to be like buying groceries for 2 adults and 2 children. But she insisted on being here. So I was just like, you know what? Maybe it's something that, like, I don't know, maybe she really needs this. It was some other stuff that she had told me that went down, and I won't put that out there because it's extremely personal. But when she told me that situation, I was like, the last place you need to be is trying to come up here. You need to be at home dealing with that situation, because it was a very dire situation. And I was like, why is she coming up here? Because number one, I can't handle it. And number two, I had told her that I had to work that weekend. And I was working COVID case investigation, like a very, very severe time for me. And I was like, well, why you won't come like the weekend that I don't have to work? But that's what she wanted to do, and that's what she did. So I was like, okay, here we go. And so trying to stretch myself and be available for this, that, and the third. Like, all the groceries was on me. I had to use the person's vehicle because my car was acting funny before I replaced it. And she was like asking me for gas money, and I'm going, why do I need to give you gas money when you eating my food, using my electricity, watching my TV, using my water, everything. I had got an air mattress for them to sleep on. Like, I was very accommodating, and she asked me for gas money to drive her car like once or twice to the store. I don't even know. But anyways, but I was just noticing it's something about like this money thing, and for some reason I automatically just got it, and then they can just like take advantage of it because I got it. And it was very strange to me. So then that was that summer of 2021, and so then that Christmas I had come down, of course, that November, but I didn't have my child with me that November, and so I was like, you know what, it's okay, like life is crazy, people are getting sick, we're losing people left and right. I will come back down with my son so that my family can see him. And we had already talked about like, hey, are you gonna come back down? And I was like, yeah. So meaning we'll see each other then, like we'll get to see each other again, because she was gonna be coming down. I didn't think twice about it. I'm doing me, let's go. So all of a sudden I end up down there, and I'm not thinking about it because I'm like, okay, I'll see them whenever, but I have to make all the stops. When I come down there, I'm the one that's trying to make sure I see family, support family, guide family, everything. So I stopped in Hot Springs first to visit with them. We spent hours with them, and then I was like, okay, because I know I have to go like even an hour and a half more, I'll do them last and then come back in because I had to work the next day. So I just made all my stops on the way. Then I saw my dad. Then I saw my grandmother when she was still living. And I remember just getting a text. I just wanted to let you know such and such is here, which was another, at the time, best friend, that we had a conversation and words about some stuff, and it didn't go over well. And it had been like 6-7 years since that had happened. So I was like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. We were talking. We were just like, she was texting me, and I was so occupied like with my grandmother and watching my son like run up and down and trying to film trains and like making sure he's safe, that I really just, I didn't register. I didn't really care. But she was like, yeah, this person is here, and I just wanted to let you know and tell grandma I said, hey, LOL. And we already know when people LOL, it'd be on some stuff, because we've even talked about that before. But she LOL'd me, so I was like, okay. And she was just like, let me know when you headed this way. And I was like, yeah, okay. But I wasn't tripping. Like, it didn't bother me that she had company and was that particular person. Didn't care. Couldn't care less. It was about 2 hours later, and I was trying to get there before dark, and we hit the road, and I just let her know, hey, like, we on the way. And then I ended up reaching out to her when we were closer, like right before we get to our hometown. And so I ended up calling her, and the phone be acting real crazy. Like, if you got cell phones and you from bigger cities, it start acting crazy once you get down there. So her phone was acting away, and she was like saying that she was in the kitchen talking to me. And so I was like, well, why she gotta be in the kitchen like talking to me? Like, because normally she talked to me normal, or she'll say, hey, let me call you from my mom's phone because it's just better. She didn't even offer that because she did not want to be talking to me with the guest that was in there. And I know that, and I'm almost certain that my name probably came up in conversation, and that's probably why it was a thing. But I didn't care, because I had told her weeks before that, hey, I'll see you when I get down there, we'll visit. So I was gonna keep my word on that. I didn't care if anybody was there. And then she was like, oh, well, mama don't want a bunch of people because my brother, this and that. Okay, I get that, but there have been other times that we came to visit in the thick of COVID, and none of that was ever brought up. None of it was ever brought up. So I was just like, okay, so which one is it? So basically that phone call ended with, okay, well, do you want to go to your mom's house first? And I was like, yeah, I'll just do that, because honestly, I don't be wanting to argue, but I will talk to you. If you somebody that's important to me and you matter, we will have the conversation. If you're not that important to me and you do me away, or you just acting shady, I really won't address it, because like, what's the point? Like, you've been that way your whole life, so it's no way of, like, there's no reason. But because that was considered a best friend, I did want to, like, have the conversation with her, but it wasn't until after the fact. So I was like, yeah, I'll just go to my mom's house first. And my mom was just like, oh my gosh, like, it just seemed like it's a lot just to try to go and visit someone, and they knew that you were coming. So the only reason why I go to my mom's house last, and I've always done this for years, I always go and see her first, unless I get there like super early and they're busy. But I'll go to my mom's house last because if need be, I may fall asleep there and then get up early in the morning and go. So I try to go see all my people first, then go to my mom's last, so that I can relax, kick up my feet if I need to, and talk with them, and not be at someone else's house like super late. So it's always been that way. So I didn't see like a reason. So when she told me that they were still there, I was like, okay, cool, like, I don't care. But it was like she wasn't inviting and saying, I just want you to know that they're there and you can come if you want, like, it's up to you. Because if I would have came, it wouldn't have been no big deal. I've been like, hey, how y'all doing? Keep it pushing. It's not that serious. And so, but it was like she was just kind of pushing towards, like, or you going to your mom's first, or probably go see your mom first. So I just did that. And so I'm sitting there visiting with my mom now, and like an hour done went by, and like no text, no nothing, no phone call to say, okay, they're not here right now. Like, are they left already? Like, you welcome to come whenever. Like, just, it was nothing. And so then I reached out and I said, hey, like, I don't care about such and such being there. I was like, that doesn't bother me. I'm just trying to see you because I said I was going to see you. We talked about this weeks ago. And I guess because I led with, well, I don't care, like, she, to me, started taking it to offense and was like, well, you sound like you tired, or you sound like you may need to go on and go. Like, just like this last issue, like the pushing me away and the backpedaling and all that stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not that. It's just that I do have to be at work the next day, and like, we had talked about this, and then you didn't even have the common courtesy to say, hey, they just left, so you can come now or whatever. So I honestly felt like my name must have come up in conversation, and because I said I was coming, I'm just trying to let you know it's not that big of a deal. So I end up over there, and I come inside because I put on a mask because she had already like made up this COVID stuff, and my mom don't want to, and I'm like, it's not been like that before. It wasn't like that in November. It wasn't like that like a year ago. Like, why is it so crazy now? And I had asked her straight up, like, because when I came in, she was like, well, you acting like you got an attitude. And it was like, she immediately was like on the defense. So then I started to explain to her. I was like, honestly, I feel like you're putting yourself in the middle of something and trying to be like this peacemaker, but it's not your issue, and it's not anything that you need to worry about. And I was like, what did you think I was gonna do? Like, come in your mom's house and like go off or create an issue or something? I was like, because that's not me. I would come in and speak or whatever, and it was like, oh, well, we was just talking about stuff back in the day. And I'm like, but I didn't even ask you what was y'all talking about. Like, it was giving lots of excuses, a lot of, again, like, excuses about stuff that, what does that have to do with me? We had already said I was coming, and we knew we was gonna see each other. Here's my thing, because I think, come to find out, like, the person had already been over her house the night before, or she didn't even know she was there, and then she just kind of like called her and then showed up. That's perfectly fine. Like, friends can visit friends if somebody is into it. I mean, we're not pulling guns and like at odds like that. It's just there was a falling out. So basically, she was just like, I was just telling her, I was like, look, it's not that serious. It's just, I said, honestly, it's not. Like, I would never come into your mom's house and disrespect y'all. Like, it is what it is. And I just said, I don't need you to be like trying to be in the middle of something. I was like, I've already told you, I've crossed paths with this person like a few years before. I spoke to her and she didn't say anything, and it is what it is. I was like, it's happened so long ago, I can't even remember everything that happened, and it just is what it is. And plus, everybody know how this person be doing because everybody has had something to say, so it's not like some shock or whatever. And my main thing was like, she just didn't tell me, well, they're not here any longer. Now you can come by, or just pick up the phone and say, hey, like, I don't want you to think I was being rude. You know, I felt uncomfortable with it. Like, even if she would have said that or just called me, but it was like, she, you know, didn't want me to come, and then she just like didn't even say nothing, never text me about it. And so we was just going back and forth, and her husband got in the middle of it and was like, y'all ain't getting anywhere. And it was just like, we was just going back and forth, and she was like, I don't need this, and I don't have to. And I'm like, but you came up to my house with stuff that I didn't need at a very critical time, but you came and you were here with stuff that I didn't need. So we're not gonna act like that to each other, because I've been like really seeing you for who you are. Like, oh, we good, we got it, because you don't want to pay $50 to stay in someone's home. Like, very weird, extremely weird. And at the end of the day, it really is what it is, and it's just very telling, it's very revealing. But like, there was a quote, and I'm trying to remember it, but basically it's just like, you know, I can't even recall it right now, but it's just basically saying that just because I don't treat you the way you show me how you are, doesn't mean like I trust you like that. It's like, it's the God in me. Like, I'll know that somebody has done something wrong, and it's just like, the battle is not mine always. Like, it is what it is. And what's the point of me confronting someone that always gonna think they right, and you've been there with them before, trying to tell them something out of love, and then they just, you know, like, just want to be combative and argue you down. So that's why I never did say anything about the money to stay at the guy's home at the time, because it was not worth it. It was not gonna get us anywhere, and that person is still gonna be with their spouse, rightfully so. So I just charged it to the game. But then we get to this part, and I'm just like, wow. And even after that was all said and done, and we did our back and forth, and her spouse was like, y'all aren't getting anywhere, I apologized, and I was like, hey, I apologize if you feel like that I've come in here away, and I was like, or that if you don't understand how I feel about the situation. I was like, but I'm just here to let you know. Like, I'm just trying to have the conversation with you, because as a friend, like she was saying, well, as your friend, I thought you should know that the person was there. That's cool, but you let me know that. That doesn't mean like, don't let me come over there. Like, that's two different things. And as her friend, I wanted to come and have a conversation with her to let her know that I don't ever want her feeling like she gotta be in the middle of something. I don't ever want her to feel like she gotta like take sides, because that situation is what it is, and I'm still here to be your friend regardless of what's going on. We talked about seeing each other. I was keeping my word on that, to see you, because we both traveled from far away, and we don't get home together often. So that's what that was all about. And I just felt like she was just like trying to backpedal out of the whole situation. But I was like, I apologize if you didn't understand where I'm coming from, but I'm just trying to let you know you don't ever have to feel that way or go through, we have to go through something like this again going forward. Like, next time, like, it shouldn't have to go down like that. It like change the subject. Oh, y'all gonna take a picture, and then it's like, I said, I apologize to you, and like, you ain't even apologize. Which she did not. And she blamed it on the zodiac sign. And I'm like, no, that's not it. Because this has been happening for years, of just like, try to tell her something, she ain't trying to hear you, or the spouse is like, she's being mean. And I'm just like, okay. And then we want to do subliminals, this, that, and the other. I don't have the energy, and I don't have time. That is what happened, and I feel like I'm able to speak on it because I've been through it, I've processed it, and I see it for what it is. To me, it's no love lost, but I'm not going to try to sit up here and pretend like things weren't different or they became different, because this person used to call me every Friday morning. I don't call her as much because she has a spouse and a family. but she would call me like clockwork, and I was there for her when she lost family members, whether it was helping or confiding while she's planning arrangements or coming to a wake. I was there. But when my grandmother passed away, no, nothing. A little Facebook something other, but not us like a sincere friend. Like, okay, it is what it is. I'll check on her, and so I'm okay with that. I know what it is. It's not only is what it is. I know what it is. Like, I get it. I understand it now, and I'm just going to put a nail in the coffin with that and move forward. And that's all I got to say about it. Okay, you guys, so I decided to do my hair off camera because I just didn't want to bring my heat tool into my office space, but this is my hair and it is just looking so vibrant and full and just healthy since I gave it a really big trim and got highlights, and I'm just praying that the color really stays nice and healthy and strong and does not like damage my hair. But y'all, I had to do something. I needed a little pizzazz in my life, but I really hope that you like the look, and hopefully you can use some of my techniques and some of the products that I use to get your own glam look. It's just the like natural everyday look, but with a little splash of sparkle on my eyes, because I love to play on my eyes. That's one of my favorite assets. If you know, you know. We're getting ready with me and chit-chatting, and maybe it, you know, brought some more things to the forefront and just let you see how it is. And until next time, peace, abundance, blessings. Bye.